If you liked it, you should have put a ring on it. If you liked it, you should. Are we film? Oh, we're filming. Okay. Hi, welcome back to Trekyards, guys. He's Commander Cockings.
Like the hardest flashbacks of any flashback in Trekyards. Exact same joke, for the exact same timing. Go back and watch our ring ship episode for that exact joke.
They liked it because they put a ring on it. Get it? If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. That was a fun episode. That was one of my favorite episodes of Trekyards to research and write script for. Was the ring ship.
Yeah, but Franklin next to ring ship was pretty fun. Yes, Stuart, we're looking at the newest, the latest, the most advanced alternate universe dimension hopping ring ship we've ever seen.
The Beagle.
Disclaimer: it's not our ring ship. It's not from our era. It's not from our universe. Huzzah! But we're going to look at it because you know what? Fun little curveball, Mike McMahon. There ain't no big spoilers. Ain't no big bad. There's just a bit of a science from another universe happening and unfortunately causing many problems. Just a bit of fun science, right? Meaning well. Meaning well.
Ring ships are cool.
What is the ring ship? Give us a brief what?
The XCV-330 U.S.S. or Enterprise. It wasn't U.S.S. Go check our episode about the ring ship. Go through the history of it. There's different iterations of it, size-wise and stuff.
Oh, yes.
One's a passenger liner. One's an exploratory ship. But very primitive warp tech, relatively speaking, with the warp ring. Although advanced because the Vulcans use it. Zephram Cochrane didn't help her invent warp drive, or she didn't help him invent warp drive. They invented this interdimensional thing, which is what this ship is. So that's one of the reasons it's clearly different. And we speculated because Boimler said, or no, Lily said, so you're saying exploring other dimensions isn't as fun as going places. I'm kind of standing still. And anyway, regardless, I want to say there were Vulcans on her crew. The Vulcans did have warp tech, so that would imply that they do have warp as well as interdimensional, because that would just make sense. Wherever they cross, wherever the fissure opens to is a different part of the universe, so they are going places, but they might not have warp. I think they might have warp. Sorry, that's a lot to dump at the very beginning of this, but it's worth talking about.
Yes, no, that's because we had that really great debate yesterday. Like, they never invented warp. They invented this, which is why it's not a warp ring, which is why it splits, and we'll get into that a little bit later. So that already changes the precedent, right? And not even necessarily interdimensional ring. That's a beam at the front, right? So the ring is just a who knows, which is fine. But yes, Vulcans on the crew. I'm okay to think that they did other universal travel and the Vulcans picked up on that and said hi. Don't think it's a huge stretch because it shows advanced tech. And then maybe Vulcan Science Academy said hi. Well, maybe not that in tone because they're Vulcans. But let's swap, right? Well, we've never done this. Let's trade warp for whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, if they don't have warp, then they start in Earth Sol, and somehow they ended up here from crossing universes. If every universe is a slightly different time frame or part of the life cycle, they'll all be in different parts. So you could, in theory, keep shifting. You stay in the same space, but that means they'd be easy to track because they could never go far when each, it's a weird concept. I don't know if they actually explored.
And as they compare it to a bubble bath, all these little bubbles of different sizes touching each other dimension wise, all you gotta do is create a rift to the other one, and who knows where you're going to show up, essentially. So yeah, this is a pretty advanced ship and tech, and I gotta say that this one looks, to my mind, a little bit more aggressive and sleek than the actual Enterprise ring ship.
Yeah, it's very different, but I clocked it within 1.2 milliseconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Because of course that's the best achievement, right? It is what it is. It's a great callback, but it's also a radically different concept for a ship in any version that we saw. So all the lovely rationales make sense here. But yeah, it looks great. I don't know why, but I felt like, if I watched the episode and getting the stills, the solar panel bits get lost when it flies visually. I registered them, but I didn't, like, they feel more prominent in the still frame than I ever did in the episode. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree.
I like them, but they're, I get they got kind of lost otherwise.
Yeah, and the one thing that stood out to me instantly was the extra supports on this. When it comes visible, it's like, oh, that's a ring ship, but different. But yet, it's more similar than you'd think.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
which we'll get into. So
And I like the supports. It kind of gives me a spider's web vibe. We have to connect everything.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the front, the front is way more emittery. I mean, that's almost verbatim like a Star Wars blaster front or a JJ back nozzle of a nacelle.
Yeah, it invokes in me a bird of prey front end.
Oh
A
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
with the torpedo launcher. So
But I buy it. That's the thing creating the emitter. That's the thing creating the thing. Love it. But let's do that direct comparison to the Eagle model render, which was, because obviously various designs, this one was taken as a licensed one. I mean, it's definitely, 85% the same? And they're not.
oh, they did a really good job, and I love the little changes like that front emitter bit instead of like a window or deflector. Like it's watch our ring ship episode. I'm very proud of that one. Very similar, and then the additional struts. That's the one thing I noticed instantly. There's also some more bulkiness on the nacelles, or not nacelles, the rings.
Well, it's really interesting. They've taken the two giant rings, they've condensed them down to thin strips, and then added supports in between, which entirely changed the vibe. And I didn't realize it was that different. Of course, I knew, but I didn't know. But it gives it kind of the Orion from Stranger World, that very thin ring vibe. But it gives it that sleekness, gives it kind of that zipping by feel that the Orions have. I like it. It works, and the fact they turn right, like it's functional.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, like you said, those two separate rings being much bigger and further apart on the older version, and this one they are
Entirely different
and put together. I didn't notice, but my brain did.
Speaking of, it's not as dissimilar as you think. The neck is bulkier. It's just because there's fuel pods. That's all it is. This thing is designed for exploration. They've got fuel pods, and it works a treat. It changes the whole feel, but actually does not change the design at all. It's great, really great. And I guess you wouldn't need a warp engine if you're not doing warp, hence the solar panels.
Not sure when you're going to be back or refuel, so you've got extra fuel there. You've got solar panels for electricity or just energy. Yeah.
Yeah, fusion reactors and solar panels. I mean, there would be no need to have a warp drive. There's no reason to think they have one because we don't ever see anything similar. Next view is interesting because this is later when the Kims are having their party, and you get this really static shot, which I feel like they up the detail of the model. So we get closer and we have a more visible detail. Obviously, it's starting to fall apart, but anything stand out here now? We're sort of a bit closer and a bit more in your face with it.
Oh, one of the solar panel things has slipped down. I mean, there's obviously damage going on here. As we see in the episode, it's like pieces flying off of it because they're trying to do the thing in a gravity well. But a lot of nice detail, honestly. This is a really down and dirty shot. Makes it feel very realistic.
Yeah, two things stand out to me. One, the main deflector is tiny, but I dig it. And it's not copper. I think it's copper in the previous one, but it's not copper. No, it's just a reflection. Yes, so it's kind of a silver. And they have got the United Earth symbol.
I was just looking at that, yeah.
Which is for Enterprise. I mean, no Federation if this is this early. So yeah, that's a definitely didn't see in the episode, but there right is. It's great. Next shot though is the front of the back. Yeah, I knew that the fin, the tail, the mast felt different, but yeah, when you move the rings that radically, it now gives that a backswept feel, which is such a nice something. It sleeks out way more than you'd think.
That's really impressive and cool. You almost get the thought that well, no, you don't actually. I was going to say that the rear ring could slide back a bit for different, but it can't because of the supports and those.
No, the supports could. The supports could. The struts are in the front ring.
The supports could, but the bulky things, the four of them that are kind of connecting the two rings.
But they could.
But there's no separation point for that, though.
I'm saying they could do. I'm saying you are right. I think that would be a very apt thing if we saw them, like in the episode, if they'd moved back and then charged. That would work really cool. Well. Yeah, kind of like Voyager's nacelles.
It does say U.S.S. Beagle there. Never noticed that before, but that's cool.
With a giant impulse engine. No, this really works as design. It's funny. It's both really flimsy and thin feeling, but they've addressed that by adding more details to kind of make it feel less flimsy.
Yeah. It's really impressive ship. And they basically canonized the ring ship. Yes, it was sort of canon because it was on the wall in the motion picture as one of the Enterprises. It's been like, but it's not really seen. Yeah, we had the U.S.S. We've had all these. It's in the calendar. It's all this stuff. But to actually see this. It's not the exact one, but it is cool to canonize the ring ship in this form. So
Well, it's like everything in the animated series, right? They've canonized it, kind of.
Yep.
And that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. No, it works really well, and it's very knowing what they've done here. Speaking of knowing, also very clear shot, which is why I've picked it, but it lands. Tell me your thoughts, Rick. I know you have many thoughts here.
I was super impressed with this. Not only this one, but the Axamander landing as well. Seeing that, but it makes sense for them to be able to land, considering it's not a large ship. But how does a ring ship land? Glad you asked. The rings split apart and fold, which I think is a really great idea. And it was awesome to see this. It makes perfect sense. It looks great. And hell yeah. Plus, those landing legs, the one at the front, I love the way that's configured, where it kind of comes out and down. And you can see the people there for scale on the right beside the one landing leg. So you get a sense of scale for it as well. Not a very large ship, honestly, especially for long trips, but I mean, it's a neat looking design, I gotta say.
Yeah, this is one of those. I certainly didn't think they were going to have them crash onto a planet together.
Yeah.
What? But also need narratively them to then leave the planet, so they have to land, not crash. Yeah, it really changes the vibe. We'll see how it splits in a second, but it's so interesting. You know, they took a really let's just sit down and think about this approach. To have the front, to have the front leg come out of that pod. Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, yeah, okay, cool. And for one of the rings to have arms, just really interesting, really, really interesting.
I do appreciate that the top ring part goes forward and the back or the bottom ring part goes backwards. I like the way that configuration looks.
That's got to be weight distribution, surely. It gives you rather than all being back heavy.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like there feels like a reason to it. I like this shot as well because the front looks so detailed, greebly on panels. It's really, you don't see that in space. Yeah, it's really nice. It's a very apt ring ship. Speaking of then, here is two other views of it. This is mostly for the landing leg configuration to kind of see how that flies. But there's also one on the bottom, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And you can see that front one, it's retracting up and sliding in.
It's a big animation when I watched it, as a visual thing, but it's such a busy ship, but still not.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. I think this is hella cool. I would love a landed configuration ring ship on my desk because I do like the way this looks.
Yeah. And obviously, then the rings then turn, which I guess what the supports are doing. I guess they're maybe the.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess they'd have to, wouldn't they? Yeah, okay, so that's why they're there. And it kind of goes that and then that. No, it's great. Yeah, I mean, really top marks. Will it be in next week? Probably not.
Might be. We don't know.
But we've got to get Lily home somehow. I mean, I guess we could fly easily. But maybe we should have the U.S.S. Beagle B. It's like, what did you skip A? No, we always go the next letter. That's a weird universe, isn't it?
Oh, it was great seeing a ring ship and an alternate universe one at that, but so similar to the one that is kind of our XCV-330 Enterprise. So
functionally different.
Yeah.
Which is always the best reason to change something. If it has to do something specific.
Yeah.
Which I like. And there'll be interiors as well to come because they are an X, but not. But yes, but not. Mostly yes, but also somewhat not.
So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that. Hit the like button for this video and notify yourself with the notification bell. So again, so you don't miss that. We got a lot of stuff we'd like to talk about. Ships are the main thing. So if you're interested in this kind of thing and want to see the interiors, don't miss out. And join us for lives as well. And that's what the notification thing is for.
And if you want to support what we do here, then you can. And we actually encourage it. So it'd be great. Patreon is a great monthly way to support what we do. Or join the channel on YouTube. It's sort of two sides of a similar coin. Gets in the fleet video and gets you extra emojis if you go the join way on the channel for the lives. Speaking of the lives, you can join us into those lives and say hello. We say hello. Or even hello there. Maybe. Obi. And then support us if you can by super chatting. Also with thanks on any video. It's like a live super chat, but not live and not super chat. But still the same idea. Just any video at any time as a thank you. Amazing. Or Buy a shirt, link down below, or any of the above, or all of the above. Do one of each, right? That's even cooler.
It is. So we have been your Lord of the Rings today.
Yes.
He is Lord Cockings.
And he is Lord Stuart Foley, 9th. From that universe. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.